How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to another race. We're here on Le Mans in the 68 Mustang, and underneath the hood of this Mustang is an absolutely monstrous 921 horsepower 6.4 liter V8, perfectly set up for the straightaways here on Le Mans. We're going to be starting 8th on the grid. Didn't qualify for this race. We got a 911 Porsche on the pole and a M3 GTS on second with a Viper in third, so it's definitely looking like it's going to be a tough race. Now, the reason we didn't qualify for this race was because I didn't get to. I got into this race late, so I'm going into this race with really not any practice with this car on this track at all, and it's gonna really show on this first lap here as I bump right into the Camaro, not knowing the power of this monstrous Mustang. Coming into the first corner here, going to pass by the Ferrari and the Camaro, going to let off the gas a little bit coming into the first turn and hit the brakes coming into the chicane. Right behind this pack of four, going to go right off the track, get hit by the Camaro and just hit that Viper off, unfortunately, and we're going to get ourselves positioned right into second coming into this next set of curves, right behind the Porsche. With the straightaway power of this Mustang, it was definitely going to suffer a bit on the curves, and it can really show here as I go off the track coming into the corner for the straightaway, giving away the position to the BMW, but it won't be for long as we come into the straightaway and this Mustang just absolutely flies. Passing the BMW almost 160, coming right up on the Porsche, going to make easy work of him, flying past him nearly 200 miles an hour. We're going to come into this next turn here, almost hitting 200 miles an hour, but just off of it. Heavy on the brakes coming into the bus stop. Still being able to have a little bit of a gap between the cars behind me. And coming into the next part of the straightaway, we're going to really just start to put time on these guys. This Mustang just absolutely screaming down the straightaway, soaring with 921 horsepower, V8 really just showing his power. Now, the one thing with this Mustang that I really didn't pay attention to that I really should have, and I wish I had during this race, was how much it would eat on my tires, because that would really come back to fight me at the end of the race. Coming out of the second bus stop, just really laying into my tires, eating, shredding rubber. Again, just no concern for them at all. Coming right down straight away here. About 3 seconds between me and second. And coming out of the first straightaway, heavy onto the brakes coming into this right turn here. And just right back on the gas, not much concern for the tires. Putting more time on between me and second and third, going from 4 seconds to almost 5 seconds in third. Coming towards the end of the second straightaway, almost hitting 200 miles an hour again. Gonna come a little bit off the gas, hit into the brakes a little bit. And just really try to pull the body through this little chicane here. It's quite a heavy car, I believe about 3,500 pounds, and it's gonna really show here as I hit the e-brake, try to save that turn. Again, shredding the rubber on my tires, not doing myself any favors. And we come into the third straightaway here towards the last few curves of Le Mans. Gonna let off the gas, should have hit the brakes just a little bit more. Go a little bit wide on this curve here. Fourth gear being the best gear for these wider turns. And we're just going to be really careful on the throttle, trying not to put too much power down and spin ourselves out possibly. Deciding that third gear wasn't a great idea there. And coming back into this little straightaway part, just again laying into the tires. And coming into the last couple of chicanes here. Heavy brake outside, towards the inside, hit the inside again and go back out towards the outside, hit into the brakes again and going inside towards the inside again and bring it out towards the outside. Coming into lap 2, we have almost 6 seconds between us and second. Feeling pretty good so far with the gap, but that wouldn't be the saving grace that I hoped it would be towards the end of the race. Coming out of the first chicane, almost nearly 7 seconds between us and second now. Having a little bit of traction trouble, gonna scrub some of that time, bring it back down to 6 seconds. This Mustang really just not doing great in the curves. It's not what it was made for. Not gonna make the same mistake as last lap and keep it on track limits coming into the first straightaway here. And once again, just gonna go right into the throttle. Just this Mustang just absolutely roaring, screaming 921 horsepower down the straightaway. And starting to notice the penalties on second, third. Gonna almost reach 200 miles an hour again, just not quite, just can't seem to get to the mark there. Going towards the inside again, and bring it back towards the inside of that last curve of the bus stop, and just again back onto the throttle. Starting to look at my tires here as they begin to go towards the halfway point. 7.5 seconds almost between second, almost 8.5 between third, coming into the bus stop for the next part of the straightaway. Really just starting to fight our tires now, and starting to give a little bit more care to our tires there, not laying as much into the throttle coming out of the turn as our tires begin to enter the minor tire wear. Coming into the next right sharp turn, heavy on the brakes, tuck it towards the inside. Smoking coming out from the tires is not going to be a great sign for how this last lap of the race is going to go. Nearly 10 seconds gap between us and the pack. Still feeling pretty good about that, which while I had my tires in mind, I was feeling pretty good about the 10-second gap. But that would come back to bite me a little bit as my tire wear really starts to show coming into this chicane here. Late on the brakes, not having the grip, going into the gravel and scrubbing a lot of that time that I had. Not learning from my mistake once again, just not quite having the grip, going wide. And that immediate 10-second gap has now came down to nearly 6 seconds, and we're really just struggling with the grip, having moderate tire wear. And with Forza's tire wear drop off, this is certainly not going to be our friend coming into the last set of curves here on Le Mans. Letting off the gas, hitting into the brakes, really starting to struggle with the traction and my tires going sideways. Just fluttering with the gas, trying to keep this thing stable through these curves. But it is really just wanting to throw the back end out, as the back end tires are just completely gone at this point. 6 seconds now, coming down to 3.5 as I just really go wide. My tires are gone, and trying to get back on the gas is trying to put another gap between us and this first and second, as he really comes right up behind us into this last little chicane. Absolutely no tires left, contact, spinning out, going off the track, re-entering, gonna make contact with the Porsche, and at this point we're just really trying to fight to keep it together towards the finish of the race, and the penalties on first and second are going to be our saving grace, leaving us with about a 7-second gap between first and second. If you like the content and you want to see more, then I greatly appreciate it if you leave a like, favorite, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.